Hey everybody, hope you guys doing alright. So we got information on the hemp roots for y'all, and the hemp roots for me, I am particularly fond of because they have potential to cure people of cancer. So, and I say potential. There's already proof. I mean, there's a lot of details that go into it, but I've seen a few lab studies, one in particular that pretty much showed, at least with breast cancer, how using hemp and the apoptosis that hemp roots occur or cause, um, cures cancer. So, or essentially gets rid of the malignant cells, which is what cancer cells are. It's just the cells that continue to reproduce, but they're unhealthy cells. They're malignant, so they attack the organs of the body, which is why cancer kills so many people. And that's also why, like, chemotherapy and just giving people drugs and shit really doesn't solve the problem at all. I mean, chemotherapy is just about trying to kill off the malignant cells, but it also kills off the good cells. So it's like a give or take. Like, it depends on how many good cells you have. If you don't have very many good cells, taking chemotherapy is a really bad idea because you're going to kill off a lot of the healthy cells as well as the bad cells. Whereas hemp roots, it all does is kill the bad cells. And it actually, if you're taking hemp and stuff like that, it's going to help rejuvenate and strengthen the good cells. So there's just tons of good reasons why. But there needs to be more. Again, we need more resources. We need more information. We need more testimonials and people willing to volunteer and experiment with what these hemp roots can actually do. But let's take a look at what this article has to say about it. And again, if y'all want the links, I mean, the font's pretty big on that one, so I don't think I gotta send y'all a comment if you guys did. But if you do, I don't mind sending it too. All right, here we go. To say that every part of the plant can be used for something is no joke. Even the roots contain properties that are useful in products people can use every day. The roots of the cannabis plant are long and deep, which makes it a highly adaptable crop. In some types of soil, the root might attain a length of 6 to 12 inches, 15 to 30 centimeters. This allows it to pick up a lot of nutrients, even in a leached soil. So that's good. It means it can work well even in soil that's not the most nutritious. And again, hemp is going to rejuvenate the soil. So if you put it in soil that's not the most nutritious, not only does it have the ability to rejuvenate it, but also has the ability to grow and be successful in that depleted soil. So it's like perfect for areas that have been deforested. All right, let's move on. Or poisoned or anything like that. Hemp roots can serve as an excellent mineral and fiber source, but what is often unknown about the roots is that much like the flower, they contain properties that have been used as medicine for centuries. Cannabis roots contain several active cannabinoids, including titropenoids, these names, I'm not the best at pronouncing them, so I'm sorry, I'm just not even going to attempt to, but which are all useful in treating certain symptoms. So that's important right there. The origin of hemp roots as medicine, For thousands of years, the flowers of this plant have been known to provide medicinal benefits. But that is only one part of the picture. Cannabis roots have also been used to treat a range of different ailments across many cultures over the centuries. The earliest mention in history of the medical properties of hemp roots dates back from 77 AD to 77 AD, It was described in the natural histories by Pliny the Elder, a Latin naturalist. Since that time, there have been recognized usage of cannabis roots in Europe, Asia, and South America. The Pang Sa O Xing, an ancient Chinese pharmacopoeia, sorry if I mispronounced that, mentioned that the juice of cannabis root could help in the cessation of hemorrhage, which occurs after childbirth. Other accounts reported that it can be used to treat spotting, difficult delivery, retention of placenta, etc. So it seems to be really beneficial in childbirth. The 12th century Persian philosopher Ibn Sina, wrote the Canon of Medicine, which stated that the compress with the boiled roots of cannabis decreases fever. In South America, the root bark was used to alleviate fever due to malaria. So it's helping out with malaria, which is a pretty serious disease from what I recall. I mean, I haven't had it, but what I've heard. All right, so by the 17th century, many herbalists would prescribe cannabis root for the treatment of arthritis, gout, and other inflammatory conditions. It was not until recently that scientific investigations into these healing properties has been undertaken. Previously, the scientific community had mostly ignored this plant because of the stigma attached to studying it, which comes from reefer madness. It's propaganda. You can look into it. I think it was even pushed by the military or the government. That is what it is. However, Modern research has found that there are several compounds in the root with possible anti-inflammatory effects. In 1971, researchers discovered the presence of terpenes in the cannabis plant. The substances are what gives cannabis its unique fragrance. Some terpenes, like isoprene, have expectorant, that's a weird word I've never seen before, and humectant, properties, and that makes them possible treatments for obstructive pulmonary diseases like asthma. All right, what else? What else can hemp roots be used for? Aside from its anti-inflammatory effects, hemp roots have other medicinal benefits. Liver health, though research on this benefit is limited, there are studies which show that hemp roots support liver health. Studies have discovered that by ethanol-based extraction, there exists a potent antioxidant known as phenylalanine. It has been found that this compound has liver-protecting capabilities. Healthy cell membranes. The roots of cannabis contain a lipid known as choline, which is an important component of cell membranes. It is also a precursor to the most abundant neurotransmitter in our bodies, called acetylcholine. Excuse me if I mispronounced that. Water-soluble choline is an essential nutrient. I wonder if they make these words like that to keep us from wanting to pay attention to them. Like, why do these words that are probably really important to a lot of things that are going on in the human body have to like come across as like a completely foreign language? Like, why not just give them a simple word like all these other words? But anyways, it's the English language, the most complex language in the world, but it's also the most prevalent all over the world. Let's move on. Water-soluble choline is an essential nutrient because the body is unable to synthesize its own endogenously. Another word I can't pronounce. I'm sorry, you guys. Hemp roots possess this chemical in small but still useful quantities. All right, cancer prevention. All right, this is what I want to get into more. Hemp roots contain a pentoxylic tryptophan ketones that support apoptosis. All right, getting into apoptosis. Apoptosis is essentially the death of cells. It's malignant cells, really. They should have clarified that. And it is required to get rid of damaged or old cells that could potentially become cancerous. Phenylalanine and epiphenylenol are also useful in warding off cancer. Though in-depth studies are lacking, there seems to be anecdotal evidence supporting such benefits. And again, it's like, okay, we have the potential to cure cancer, yet, we're just not going to study it. It's an agenda. So anyways, move on. Nutrition. With mineral amounts of the psychoactive compound THC, using raw hemp roots as a source of nourishment is also possible. There are trace amounts of cannabinoid acids in the roots which can still contribute to the onset of a sense of well-being. It can be ingested in the form of teas and powders. Roots store a lot of nutrients that are responsible for a plant's growth and health. This makes the root one of the most nutritious part. This makes the root, I think they misworded that a little bit. And they're trying to say this makes the root the most nutritious part of the plant. However, this depends on the soil and the microbes within it. Despite being useful in these areas, the flowers and leaves are still much more nourishing for the body than the roots. Regardless, the roots are part of the plants that are rarely looked at as useful. When it comes to the cannabis plant, that's not quite the story. The dietary and cosmetic applications for roots are just the beginning of their usefulness. Next, we're going to tell you a little bit about how they help clean the soil that the plant is grown in. So, all right, I love you guys. Hope you all have a good one, and take care. Bye.